By the way, welcome back to school. Welcome back to school, everybody. This is my 5th week of online schooling in Thailand. Um, get ready to type. That's how we'll be participating a lot today. This session is all about planning and posting. I want to introduce you to my kids. These are some of my kids from last year. This is my actual classroom, and I always start all of my webinars with this prayer. Serve students that I will never meet. For kids. I currently am a social studies teacher. I teach 100 kids. I have 5 classes. I teach MYP, which is Middle Years Program, grades 6, 8, and 10. I collaborated with 2 co-teachers, but I come with a language specialist background for 8 years of experience. My class has beginners, intermediates, fluents, refugee kids, scholarship kids, gifted and talented learners, and 90% of students are multilingual. By the way, if you want to mute your mic, you can. It's up to you. Okay? Before we start, I want to tell you about research. Hi, Lydia. Welcome. It's by Dr. Pardini. And let me tell you a story. In St. Paul, Minnesota, in 2003, they had a program where it was pull out. So kids were not included into classes. What they had was they had science classes, and they had the English version of science classes that was sheltered. So their intention was good, but the impact was different. Then they moved to co-teaching, where all students were learning together. The content teacher and the language specialist came together to work together to teach. Let me show you the results. Between 2003 and 2005, their reading gap was 13%. Once they moved it to co-teaching, their reading gap dropped to 6%. Their numeracy used to be 6.7, and then it dropped to 2.7, the gap between numeracy. Can you, in your group chat, and Kelly's going to respond to everyone, and she's going to say your first name, can you say, why do you think this happened because of co-teaching? Type in your group chat. Why do you think this happened? The fact that the reading gap and the numeracy gap dropped because of co-teaching. Whenever you're ready to type. 20 more seconds. When the responses come in, Kelly can read the chats.
Sure. Let's see. Mary says, excuse me, students didn't miss out on the content. From Steph, comprehensible input of the content. Jill Kramer, Jill is always with us. Welcome back. Exposed ELs to a greater variety of academic language. Julie Horton, students had access to grade level materials with scaffolds. All good observations. Roxy, sharing more ideas for strategies. Sula, teaching strategies and pedagogical approaches were more aligned and cohesive. I love that.
Well, let me show you the results before we go to why. St. Paul's also compared their district results for ELs compared to the entire statewide. They outperformed all of the other districts when looking at just multilinguals. Here is the possible reason why. And I just read this from another book. It's by Hungersville Parish and Estrada. When teachers collaborate to plan academic language learning and literacy development activities that meaningfully connect with each other, ELs can make better sense of the patterns in language. And someone said, actually everything you said is included in this, in particular, making content comprehensible. Dr. Hattie said that the co-planning of lessons is the task that has one of the highest likelihoods of making a marked positive on student learning. We will look at co-planning specifically in a second to make sure this happens. He said it's actually so effective that of all of the approaches that we could take, factors we could take, it's the number one it has an almost 4 times the effect of any other strategy. That's why it's considered the highest. Okay, we're going to start with looking at an eagle's eye view of teacher collaboration. We're going to look at collaborative instructional cycle. So this is what it includes: co-planning, co-teaching, co-assessing, and co-reflecting. I know that when I first started as a teacher, as a language specialist, I thought it was only co-teaching. And then I learned about Dr. Andrea Hogensfeld and Maria Dove. They also have a course. They're fantastic. Then I realized there are other components that I was missing. But this session would just be about co-planning. Okay, get ready to type. Here are all the things, and it's not exhaustive. These are all the things that you could do in co-planning, co-teaching, co-assessing, and co-reflecting. In the group chat, share one thing that you already do well in any of these things. You can say co-planning and then give an example. You can say co-teaching and then give an example. You can say co-assessing and give an example. And you say collectively reflecting and give an example. For those teachers who are just arrived, hello, welcome. We are now looking at things we can do in the collaborative instructional cycle. And we're picking just one that we're already doing really well. And when Kelly's ready, she can just co-facilitate by reading the responses. Jill Kramer, okay, pull out. I will show you in this exact session what you can do during pull out session. Okay.
Great. And Elizabeth says leveled sentence frames for writing. Ms. Sandra Flowers, co-plan with content and language objectives. Harley, representation and teaching materials, transferring skills. Oh, lots of good answers here. Steph, adding scaffolds to lessons while co-teaching, providing sentence frames and annotating lesson goals and success criteria. Julie Horton, sentence frames. Lorianne, co-plan scaffold tasks to provide multiple entry points for all proficiency levels. Janet, co-planning, scaffolding, hearing lots of scaffolding out there. Roxy, sentence frames. Harley, intentional groupings. Sounds like this group knows what they're doing there, Todd.
Oh, they're really doing really well.
So in my role, I co-reflect. Nice. That's something we miss too often with colleagues as we review evidence from student learning to inform the next teacher moves. Love that.
Right. What I wanted to show you that I love that you're already talking about things beyond co-teaching. And that was the goal of this little slide, to show you that if you're in Jill's position, you can still collaborate with teachers. You don't have to do all of them. For example, this is an example of things that someone can do at the beginning. But your goal is to say, oh, add to your repertoire of approaches to collaborate. Right? Okay. If you remember nothing else, this is the most important thing. Co-planning is co-teaching. Dr. Andrea Hogensfeld and Maria G. Dove said that you can have co-planning without co-teaching, but you cannot teach without co-planning. For years, I just walked into the classroom and I thought it was co-teaching, but I wasn't, because I wasn't co-planning intentionally. Let me show you my favorite co-planning strategy. Well, first let's talk about co-planning. Low risk. Co-planning is low risk and it's also high reward. Let's look at just low risk. Can you in the group chat type why you think co-planning is low risk? Why do you think co-planning is low risk? There are many reasons. By the way, I'm modeling what I would do with my students. Do you notice how I'm always having you participate and I'm not having you just listen? So I'm chunking information. Why is co-planning low risk? Kelly, my lovely co-teacher, will be reading the responses. Why is co-planning low risk?
All right, let's see what we have here. Jill says, collaboration, feeling equal to the content teacher because it is collaboration and a time to bounce ideas off one another from Elizabeth. Harley says both teachers are expected to provide input and value as well as gain from the process. Sola says ownership of the plan is shared. Steph provides voices to everyone involved in planning. It's sharing of ideas and approaches from Roxy. Janet, because it is open-ended. And Lorianne, you have each other's expertise to depend on.
Yes. In addition to your responses, your very insightful responses, mine is that teachers can rehearse and trial instruction before delivering it. Teachers have the time and mental space to respond intentionally to students' needs rather than reacting. For teachers who are not receptive to co-teaching, co-planning, it provides a safe alternative starting point to supporting kids. Get ready to type. Oh, I kind of gave you some of the answers. You're smiling, I can see that. Why is co-planning high reward? We looked at its low risk. It makes it easy because they're not like there are 20 kids in front of us. No, there's just me and the teacher, and they're saying, hey, we could. It's a little safer for us. So why is co-planning high reward? Let's type your responses. Hi, Anne, welcome. We're typing in why we think co-planning is high reward.
Co-planning is high reward, according to Jill, because students get a double dose of expertise. Absolutely.
Which is similar to what Elizabeth said, 2 is better than 1.
Right, and Harley says each teachers learn from each other. Adriana, hi Adriana. Adriana is our online course guru facilitator for our graduate credit courses. So thanks for popping in, Adriana. You're learning from each other. Harley says, oh wait, she was doing a correction there. Lorianne, it makes teaching fun and that gets the students more engaged when both teachers are excited about it. Very true. Aniko, I know what the classroom teacher is teaching and I can scaffold for the students. Zula, we receive validation from another professional, right? Teaching can be lonely, so I loved co-teaching. Roxy, best practices and focusing on student learning.
So here are some of the things that I think about when I think about co-planning as high reward. It's a multiplier of our time. We can work 1 hour and it multiplies 4 weeks. That 1 hour of work. Co-planning session can produce days, weeks, months of language-friendly instruction just by 1 hour. Strategies can identify during co-planning can be used for all students because everyone is a student of school language, academic language. Identified strategies can be used by the co-teacher even when the language specialist is in another class. If you give them that sentence frame, they're going to use it with their 5 sections of students. That's why you're upskilling, you're developing their skills, but you're also helping all kids in all classrooms when you're not even there. Let me tell you, in March 2019, I was in lovely British Columbia in Abbotsford on the west side, and I had a room of 200 teachers, and I was presenting this, and someone calmly raised their hand and said, this is really nice. Yeah, but how do you do this when you have 12 teachers? I was speechless. I didn't know what to say because I'm like, wait, you teach with 12 teachers? How do you do that? And I know some of you teach with a lot of teachers. And I came back and I like cried in my hotel. I was like, oh my God, I'm a failure. I don't know how to help teachers this way. And I was thinking, wait, what do I do that has the highest impact if you can only have a limited amount of time with teachers? Let me play a game with you to help you. Holly already knows this game because we've played with her before. I'm going to give you this is a metaphor for our next phase of learning. I'm going to give you a vase. The vase represents a unit, 1 unit in learning. I'm also going to give you small pebbles. I'm going to give you sand, and I'm going to give you a stone. All of these items can fit into our unit, our vase. Which order would you like to put them first, second, and third? Think for a second. Which would you put first in, and then second and third, so they all fit? I'm going to give you 12 seconds to think, and don't type it yet. When I say enter, enter your responses. 12 seconds. Don't type, don't enter yet. 10 seconds. What goes first, second, and third? 5 more seconds. Okay, get ready to enter now. Yeah, okay, look at that. Yeah, a lot of people are saying yes, big to small. Let me tell you why. You put the big things first, such as designing projects, long-term groupings, designing assessments, creating rubrics, producing extended writing, supporting extended reading, content mapping, unit planning. If we do 1 hour of the big things, it'll take the space, it'll take up the most space, and all the small little lessons will fall in the gaps afterwards. Yeah, I see people like keep nodding. I love it. And then here are the second things. The second things are the pebbles. What are we doing at the beginning? What are we doing at the middle? What are we doing at the end? And then here are the granular things, the low yield co-planning. Today's lessons, tomorrow's lessons, a bulletin board, a one-time graphic organizer. They have low impact compared to the big things, the big stones. When we do this, this is what I used to do. I used to come up to teachers and say, okay, what are we doing tomorrow? And we would lesson plan for tomorrow. And I wouldn't see them for the next 8 days in my cycle. So I was able to help 1 day out of 7 days. Until I switched and I said, wait. How can I help you with one thing that's going to help kids for the next 8 days when I'm not there? That's when I switched and everything became so much more powerful. When we do today's lesson, tomorrow's lesson, a bulletin board, a graphic organizer, and that's the only thing we do, we become an aid. When we teach the big things connected to the standards, we become an equal designer of instruction. They will start to believe it and see, wow, Steph's really competent. Oh my goodness, Flowers is fantastic at this. Let me slowly invite her to co-teach with me. All this comes from co-planning. Here's my schedule, my real schedule in 2018 to 2020. I taught 5th grade at a big international school, and I had 5 teachers. I gave up my personal planning, my personal prep time to co-plan with my 5 teachers. And that's made the difference in our teaching. Let me show you one. This is Miss Lovely C, Miss Sharna Canahan. She is a fantastic teacher. If you ever get a chance to work with, I hope you all have a Sharna Canahan in your school who's receptive, kind, and willing. So this is what we did. This is our big stone. Unit 3 was writing the narrative, writing a narrative unit. So we started off with the big stone, which was Calkins writing rubric. So this, the whole unit is 3 pages. That's where we started. We said, let's look at the rubric. We didn't say, what are you teaching tomorrow? We said, no. Let's look at the criterion. Here, it's a checklist, and this directs our lessons throughout the unit. Oops. Oh, here's an example as well. So if you want to click on it, you can. I'm happy I gave it to you. Let me break this down. Let me show you, analyze it for you. So the narrative rubric was our big stone. The parts of the rubric where there is structure, there's development, and conventions. We identified that the beginning is going to be development. The middle part of the unit is going to be the structure, and then the end part of the unit are going to be the conventions. So we sequenced our unit by looking at our big stone. And then the granular details came out each week when we looked at the beginning, the middle, and the end. But we are always grounded back on that rubric. So here are the questions that I always ask teachers. This is a wonderful slide if you would like to take a screenshot. I always ask my teachers, when I work with them, if I can ask them, what are the students doing by the end of the unit? How powerful is that? And then I move to another question. Once we figure that out, I say, what are students doing at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end of the unit? So we're going to sequence that. And at the end, when we finally figure this out, we say, hey, what are students doing by the end of the week? That in itself is a powerful question because it moves beyond what are we doing tomorrow. Yes, I love all the nods. Okay, so you're going to get back to this in just a second. Small groups, get ready. What you're going to do is this is a sample template that you can use. You think about the unit at the beginning. You think about the concepts, the knowledge, the skills the students have to master. This is the curriculum standards. Then you start with the stones. You say, let's backwards plan. Hey, describe the summative for the unit in terms of the product students must produce and the content of the product. Fill that out. Once you finish, you're going to move to the pebbles. You're going to say, okay, now that I know this is the product, what are we doing at the beginning, the middle, at the end of the unit to get to that product? And then the last one, we identify the knowledge students have to learn and the skills students have to demonstrate at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end. So we start with the beginning and we tease it out. What are the little lessons students have to get at the beginning? Okay. What's going to happen is I'm going to give you this link. All right, this is a worked example I'm not going to be talking more about it, but this is a worked example that you'll be seeing. So you notice, here's the product, the pebbles, here's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, beginning, middle, end, and then the sand. What am I doing at phase 1? What am I doing at phase 2? What am I doing at phase 3? Okay. I'm going to now give you this link. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to wait for everyone to get into it. This is what I do with my students, because I know they're like on Instagram and on TikTok as I'm teaching them online, and I'm like, I'm going to count until I see 27 students on this document. Oh my goodness, hello Octopus. Hello, and I would say kids' names, right? I go, hello Steph. Oh, I see Lau on it. Yes, Flores. Oh my goodness. Yes, Jill. That's right. Oh, I wanted to speak about. Jill said I can't collaborate because I'm in a pull-out model. But what if you co-design the assessment for kids and you could use it in your pull-out class? I have 14 teachers, 20 teachers. Wonderful. There's a pumpkin. Hello, platypus. I have no idea who you are, but that's okay. What you're going to do is you're going to work with your partners. Let's say, example, that I am Flowers, and then I'm Jill. Let's just pretend who you're going to be with. It's going to be randomized. You're going to start, let's say that Flowers is going to give her lesson or her unit. She's going to say, okay, I think in this unit, we're going to do this. Then one person's going to type. The person not talking is the person typing. Yeah, that's how I tell my kids. The person in the group who's not talking is the person typing. So now they're both interacting. Because you know your like high achievers are like, here's my idea, and then they're just going to type. So no, there's a scribe and there's a speaker. Whoever has the idea gives it to the scribe who's typing. Okay? Work with the stones idea, and then work with the pebbles and then the sand. Start with the stones though. Okay. What questions do you have for this lesson? I'm going to delete Flowers and I'm going to delete Jill because it's all going to be random. I'm going to check the group chat. Okay. Well, if there are no questions, I will be here in the small group. If you need to leave and come back and ask, please make sure you do. Go into the small group, introduce yourself. Kelly, can you put there are 27 participants, so maybe like 3 people per group would be great. Okay? Enjoy your collaboration. One team, each team gets their own box. Enjoy the collaboration. All right, here they go. Emily Francis is here. Oh my goodness. Roxy Lamar, are you there? Let me type to Roxy. What people are doing. For example, so I just want to share with you what people are doing. Mary and Angelina summarizing an article. So at the end of the article, they're going to have to analyze independently in a paragraph of 5 to 6 sentences. So they know that's their goal up at the end. How are they going to do that? At the beginning, they're going to first have to annotate the text for these things. And the middle phase, they're going to have to work with pairs to be able to do that. So from independent to pairs. And then the last phase, kids are going to be creating their own paragraphs using their own sentences. Right? Beginning, middle, and end. And now I notice they're starting to think about the sand, the individual sand, the granular things. I mean, I could talk about an hour for each, like this whole document. It was fantastic. You also notice I was with student interactions. I was asking questions. I was putting in things like saying, hey, I think this part needs to be helped, right? Or I think you should add this part. And I'm just walking and also when I do this for kids, this is the built-in scaffold. When, for example, let's say that Jill, Sandy, and Elizabeth, they're completing their document, and let's say that someone else, Julie, Robin, and Harley, are looking at their document to say, hey, how are they doing this? It's another example of scaffolding by adding more examples. Okay, you notice that I didn't intentionally go into your group because I wanted to get to observe first, and if I really needed to, I'll go into a group. Okay, please take a picture of this because you're going to you're going to debrief in a second. In your groups, please talk about these three. By going through this process, I notice I'm also giving students, like when I work with my students and they're going to small groups, they have little documents, they have little sentence frames to help. High-yield co-planning is beneficial to students because high-yield co-planning is beneficial to colleagues because. Okay. And then we'll come back and we'll debrief. I'll give you 5 minutes to do this. We'll be in the same groups again. Take a picture. There's like 10 seconds left to take a picture of this so you can talk. And when you're ready, you can go in and talk with your partners. Okay, welcome back. I'm going to share the document with you. And what I'd like you to do is please choose one of these responses. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm just waiting for everyone to come back. Perfect. 26 fabulous teachers. Please go to slide 43. On slide 43, I would like you to pick one of these questions to answer. And then you'll answer it as a comment. Now, let me explain to you why I'm doing that. Sometimes for responses that I want kids to just to see if they're comprehending, I have it in the group chat. For responses when I want students I want to analyze and evaluate their responses later, not for a grade, but this is like almost like an exit ticket response, I have them comment. Let me show you how to comment if you're not familiar. Okay? This is what I do. Please watch my screen. I would just click like on a word, and then I would go to the little insert button and scroll down to comment. And I would type my comment. Another way you can do that is just clicking on one of the words and then using this little button here called comment, and then click the little plus sign button and add a comment. So you can choose what way you like to do that. Okay? I have 6 minutes left. We'll just take 2 minutes to do this now. Find which one you would like to do. And just comment on one of the words. We're on slide 43. Great, I see lots of teachers on it. Let me share with you the slide one more time. Sometimes I have to share both times with my students as well. Not a problem. Here's the slide one more time. 16 teachers on it. When you're ready, you can just click on one of these words, one of these parts, and just answer the question. I know, I can tell you're typing right now. I'll give you about 30 more seconds. Which one did you resonate with? And just share your responses. So I'm getting students' responses at the moment. Waiting for a few more seconds. Here we go. Angelina, would you mind reading yours?
Yes. We can learn from each other and share the workload.
Yes, and this is why co-planning is so powerful. I'm not sure who Anonymous is, so I'll just read the responses. They have access to grade, level, rigor, and expectations. Yes. In our field, students often experience watered down education. But if we co-plan together, we get to keep that rigor high. We're going to say, no. They're not going to do worksheets when everyone else does the experiment. What can we do together? Elizabeth, would you read yours?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, hold on. I'm having troubles.
It's okay. I'll read it for you if you want me to.
I can't. Where did it go?
It's okay. I got it. Classroom teacher brings content, knowledge, typical expectations of that age, and EL teacher brings it with a lens of language. That's right, Elizabeth. It builds a relationship with colleagues. Just for the sake of time, I'll speak to everyone else. Elizabeth, thank you. No worries. Hope, I'm giving you claps. We discuss how we both teachers could come together, focus on student learning, students benefit with collaborative planning. That's it. Nora, the lessons are embedded with EL scaffolds. That's exactly why we do this together, because we can slowly embed. It doesn't feel like they have to do anything extra. It's just like unit planning, what they're used to, but now we get to add and embed scaffolds, and we can make it culturally relevant for them as well. Lori Ann, I was able to show the content teacher who said she was retiring that year and not changing anything to learn and use what we had done with the other classes. Yes, it's saying, hey, I did this with 8C. Let's try to do it with 8A. That's right, Lori. Anonymous, it's beneficial because we share. And I'll read the last one. Harley, there is a lot of power and value in meaningful collaboration, and this is how they get. Can you imagine? One more step is co-teaching, because you built trust within co-planning. One more step is co-teaching. Oh, I just all love these responses. Okay, let me share with you one very quick thing. So here, this is Donna, Ollie's, and Emily's. For the beginning, I added this. I know that they're gonna. Okay, so here, this is from Anna and Janet. They said, phase 1, diagram, sample writing with the support. In phase 1, they're going to have to do this. Narrative structure, importance of sequencing, words, and organization. So imagine all the work now that you could do that goes at this level. I love that. This is why we start from the stones, go to the pebbles, go to the sand. I also want to say hello to Emily Francis. If you haven't seen Emily Francis, South Carolina's keynote, fantastic. I have given you the link. I'll share it in the group chat. 1 second. And I think Emily would be another great course facilitator. Emily, she's coming out with a book, everyone. And here's the link as well. It's on slide 43 for those who want it. It's just fantastic. Okay, so that leads us to the end of our webinar. We have 1 more minute. And let me just share with you this. This is these are all of my descriptions of the course, the expanded version. And then this is the registration for the course. I share with you everything that I've learned so far, and I still have so much more to learn about teacher collaboration. So we go with the first unit, which is co-planning and co-assessing, which you kind of are part of today. We go then to co-teaching and co-reflecting. by these 2 units, it completes the collaborative instructional cycle. And then the last one, the most important, is cultivating co-teaching relationships. Okay. It was an honor to be part of your beginning of school. Let me stop my share. Who comes to school, who comes to a webinar after they spent all day teaching? It's you do. You do. Yes, we do. Raise our hand. That's right. I love it, Davina. It's because you care for your kids. Pablo Picasso said this, and I will end this. He said, the purpose of life is to find your gift, and the purpose of the gift is to give it away. That is what you're doing by showing up today. So you don't have to show up for the courses, but I just want to say, you are giving your gift every day to kids, refugee kids like me, and I want to thank you for that. So if you need me, contact me to Twitter. I'm always here. We're on this march together. Wishing you all the best. Bye, everyone. Can you turn your microphone and say bye?
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.